It is a gorgeous night in Paris, France, as Notre Dame and South Carolina begin the college basketball season. The Eiffel Tower shimmering as we get ready for tip-off. We welcome you to the Aflac We Play in Paris, France. The Louvre standing proudly, and so is women's basketball. What a year 2023 has been. 9.9 million viewers to see LSU capture its first national championship. Caitlin Clark and Iowa play in front of 55,000 fans in an exhibition in October. And this, the first NCAA game played in Paris. As we welcome you courtside. Bonjour, everybody. Ryan Rucco alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. So happy to be with you for the start of this women's college basketball season. Rebecca, what a way to start it here in Paris, the first game ever played here for the NCAA.
It's only fitting that we start this season in epic fashion because that's how we ended it a year ago. Incredible performances at the Final Four, on the floor, lots of eyeballs watching it. So what do we have this season? We have a lot of really good teams. We certainly have plenty of star players in the women's college game, and we're tipping it all off with a top 10 matchup.
A top 10 matchup that features South Carolina, a team that has gone to 3 straight Final Fours. As we take a look at some of their headlines, South Carolina team that last year lost just one game, that semifinal matchup with Iowa. This is a program that has captured 2 national championships. Last year sent 5 players to the WNBA. Aliyah Boston, the Rookie of the Year. This year, 5 newcomers, 3 freshmen, 2 transfers. For a little more on one of the holdovers, Kamilla Cardoso, here is another Hall of Famer, Robbie.
Well, Kamilla Cardoso made a big splash on the college basketball scene. At 6'7", she was the ACC Freshman of the Year at Syracuse, but she transferred to South Carolina and had to wait her turn. She said, I had to trust the process, sitting behind the great Aliyah Boston. She has to learn to be great and more consistent this season. She was at her best last year in the women's Final Four against Iowa, 14 points, 14 rebounds, but she had a meeting with Dawn Staley in the offseason, and Dawn said, you've got to learn how to be dominant at all times for us this season, and she said she's ready. Look what she can do on the boards. 18 rebounds per 40 minutes. She's ready to dominate, and elle est prête pour le moment pour ce soir.
Very nicely done, Holly. Meanwhile, South Carolina will take on a Notre Dame team that has really been climbing back to prominence under Niele Ivey last season. Their second straight Sweet 16 appearance. They were led by Sonia Citron, a junior this year. Leading scorer last year, nearly 15 points per game. And Notre Dame got to the Sweet 16 without their star point guard, Olivia Miles, who is expected to return at some point this season from knee surgery. In the meantime, there's another point guard star ready to burst onto the scene for the Fighting Irish. For more on that, here is Andrea Carter.
That's right, Ryan. Well, head coach Niele Ivey said that even though Hannah Hidalgo is just a freshman, she is a dog. She said that Hannah has brought a different level of edge and swag to this team. She is fearless and competitive. All of that was on display in the exhibition game. She dominated on both ends of the floor, efficient offensively, energy defensively. And I talked to Hannah at shoot-around. She said you would think she would be nervous, but she's not at all. She did tell me defense gets her going, but when she gets that first and one on offense, ooh la la, watch out.
All right, Drea, let's take a look at our complete sports management starting lineups for Notre Dame. Hannah Hidalgo and a transfer from Fort Manna to Wolves, Sonia Citron, Westbelt, and Watson. And for South Carolina, take a look at their starting 5. Bigger roles this season for Raven Johnson, Bree Hall, Chloe Kitts, Kamilla Cardoso, and then the transfer, Te-Hina Pau. South Carolina led by Dawn Staley, and Notre Dame led by Niele Ivey. And here we go for the very first time in Paris. We have NCAA basketball. And right away, you see Anna DeWolf trying to sell that had last hit South Carolina. She knocks it out of bounds. A decorated player at Fordham makes the jump to Notre Dame. and starts right away.
You see Notre Dame starting out in a zone defense, especially because they're giving up size to Cardoso inside. Expect them to play a lot more zone.
Oh, taken away by Hidalgo. We saw Drea detail the steals as Hidalgo gets fouled on the attack and will shoot two.
Did you just see the official get taken out by a sideline photographer?
There was a photographer who was on the floor. And, you know, that's one of those things, different customs in different countries. And
I don't think there's a custom here to trip the official.
I think it may not have known she could not be there. And Angelica suffered, took a big tumble. Hope she is okay. I was saying we were hearing from Drea about the defense as well in the exhibition game from Hidalgo. Comes up with a steal right away. And here you go. Look at, oh my goodness. You cannot be where that photographer was.
But Hidalgo, yes, talking about how she can turn defense to offense, pushes the ball quickly the other way, fearless, gets to the free throw line as well.
In the corner, Bree Hall a little too strong on a three, and the weak side board to Hidalgo. Hidalgo tries to fit it in a tight space. It's out of bounds off of South Carolina. Dawn Staley, the premier figure of the South Carolina program, 16 seasons, has won at least 25 games in 11 of the last 12 years. Saw so much talent leave, that Freshie class, they called them, who dominated for 4 years at South Carolina. Now many of them in the WNBA, and Dawn Staley talked about how much she's liked the feel of this new group, especially recently, saying we're starting to feel like a team, look like a team, sound like a team. Meanwhile, speaking of liking your squad, Niele Ivey told us what she loves about this group is that they are bringing a competitive culture that normally she has to set the tone for. She said right now it's coming from the players though, and she really likes what that portends for the season. Corner three won't go for Jenna Brown, and the rebound to Notre Dame.
A really nice box out by Watson. It's going to be important for Notre Dame to corral the boards and to hit those box outs first.
Hidalgo can't hit the three. Rebound tapped out of bounds. Last hit Hall. Going to stay right here with Notre Dame.
And I expect a nice pace to this game because both teams like to push the ball up and down the floor. Dawn Staley said that's one area. Transition offense is where they could be better than they were a season ago.
Said probably will be a better shooting team as well, as Maddie Westbeld nails the long jumper. A 5-0 start for Notre Dame. Here's Cardoso, trapped, held up, and possession arrow belongs to the Irish.
Really nice job by Notre Dame because they waited for her to catch the basketball. Cardoso to catch the basketball before double teaming. And how about that? The fake by Westbeld, like she was going to make the wraparound entry pass, pulled it right back and drained the shot.
Maddie Westbeld was talking to us earlier today about how good she feels physically and mentally. Said she just has a level of peace. And every morning she just meditates on enjoying the experience of playing as a senior this year. Hidalgo looks pretty good so far.
Yeah, she does.
One of the exciting young freshmen in the nation as Citron takes a tumble. And we'll see who that fouls on. Hal Powell already has one.
Notre Dame players were telling us earlier today, we expect this to be a physical game. Obviously, Cardoso getting hit with that one there. South Carolina, always a team, especially on the defensive end, that makes their size and presence felt.
Here's DeWolf. Back to Westbeld. Westbeld turns the corner, can't serve it in. Rebound hits the floor. Cardoso couldn't grab it, now does. Gets it off to Powell, the Oregon transfer, who has brought immediate leadership for Dawn Staley's team. That jumper is good. Raven Johnson, the sophomore.
Nice job by Johnson to get the ball, one dribble, pull up, get herself into good solid range.
Hidalgo off to Citron. Citron pivots inside and squeezes it in off back iron. Sonia Citron said she was very happy to be back off the ball this season. Last year had to take over the point guard duties when Olivia Miles went down with a major knee injury. And a foul from behind. Pau tumbles, and the foul's on Hidalgo.
My favorite part of Raven Johnson's shot here, she gets it, 1 dribble, 2 dribbles, pulls up, and we see her at the end. She gives herself like a little fist pump, like, yeah, I made my first shot. And then Citron, just beautiful footwork as she gets it to go inside.
Raven Johnson, the number 2 overall recruit in the 2021 class. Still in that zone. Chloe kicks it out. Pau connects on a 3.
And that's one of the big differences for South Carolina this year from a season ago, is they have a player who shoots a great percentage from 3. Pau, 42% a season ago from 3, and took 48% of her shots from there.
Here's Hall swooping through, got bumped, gets the whistle. Foul be on Citron, and free throws for Bree Hall.
That's certainly one of the things that Te-Hina Pau brings to this team, is an ability to step in and hit threes. And in her pregame warm-up, she was taking some deep, way beyond NBA range kind of threes, able to hit a number of them.
Well, you talked about needing that from South Carolina, more shooting. And last year, only 18.6% of their field goal attempts were from 3. That was 353rd of the 361 Division I teams. So having Pau certainly going to change that this season, along with some of the other shooting that South Carolina has brought in.
Yeah, they simply dominated the paint against almost every opponent a season ago, so they did not need a lot of three-point shooting.
Rejected! Kamilla Cardoso with the block.
Kamilla Cardoso averaged 2 blocks per game a season ago. You see her move her feet, and really smart. Just hand up in the air, knows that she's got the length to block pretty much any opponent.
Citron gets clobbered and lays it in, plus the foul, and Raven Johnson hit the hardwood with a lot of force. A little shaken up.
It's a nice little pump fake from Citron to get Johnson in the air, but then both of them go down hard, and it looks like Johnson right on the elbow.
Yeah. What do you like most about Citron's game?
The versatility of it. She's had incredible toughness and confidence since she was a freshman. You know, you talked about a season ago when she had to take the point guard responsibilities. We've already seen her with some nice footwork inside the paint. There's just not a lot she cannot do.
Lob it inside, and a foul underneath on a hold. That's going to be on Natalia Marshall. Just checking in.
Cardoso, it's hard when you constantly have people around your feet, defenders, and she's surrounded. She's going to, all game today and the entire season, have multiple defenders around her feet, much like we saw Aliyah Boston a year ago, but she continues to work and post looking for the ball.
Pau draws 3, off to Kitts. Johnson will fire, and it's hit. How about the confident stroke from Raven Johnson here early? Here's Hidalgo. Shimmies, takes, and banks. And you could see the fire right away from Hidalgo.
I love the flex as if she intended to bank the shot in. It was great, though. I mean, she was going over the long arm of Cardoso.
We heard Niele Ivey tell Holly Rowe on the pregame show about Hidalgo as Kitts gets fouled that she is just a dog. Has incredible edge, incredible competitive spirit, and the entire team has already felt that presence.
You need at least one of those kind of players, and it doesn't matter if they're a freshman or if they're a senior, because the player who brings that to the table has it all the time. They have that competitiveness all the time, every drill, every practice, every moment they're on the floor. We're already seeing that early here in this game.
Checking out is Hidalgo. Notre Dame, by the way, over the limit now, so South Carolina in the bonus. Hassan Prosper in off the bench for Notre Dame as well. See Chloe Kitts, number 17 recruit in the ESPN W100 for 2023. She checks out along with Raven Johnson, and in comes a freshman that Dawn Staley is very excited about. Malaysia Fulwiley, who Dawn Staley has called a generational player. Here's Citron using the screen. Will pull, can't hit. Long rebound taken on the run by Fulwiley. Fulwiley dumps it inside. Cardoso, the catch and the finish.
The whole possession, Fulwiley's head was up and she was assessing the floor, and that was a perfectly placed pass over the defense to Cardoso. Great decision by the freshman.
A 14-12 South Carolina lead midway through the first quarter. Westbeld has shown a feathery touch in this first. Here's Fulwiley, short on a three, knocked out of bounds. Looked like Westbeld might have hit it, but they'll say Notre Dame basketball. Well, Fulwiley's first minutes as a collegiate player, delivering a gorgeous assist in Paris. Would you put that pass in the Louvre? You just might.
Well, something we are very familiar with when it comes to South Carolina basketball is the impact of post play. Kamilla Cardoso cuts, it attracts the defense of Maddie Westbeld and leaves shooters on the outside. This is something that we have seen with Aliyah Boston for countless years, but they didn't always capitalize on it. They now have the three-point shooters to potentially do so.
Drea, the best gift you can ever give to a post player is three-point shooters. And certainly Kamilla Cardoso has some of those this year. It's going to make her life a lot easier. And I'm guessing one of the best gifts you can give to those three-point shooters is a big who draws double teams.
Right, it's a reciprocal relationship. Here's Westbeld, not that time, her first miss, and Cardoso flags down the rebound. A 15-14 Notre Dame lead, good action early on in this first quarter. Season opener, first NCAA game ever in Paris as Fulwiley, nice move, then gets rejected. You see the three-point shooting for South Carolina a season ago, 170th in D1. DeWolf didn't take it, Hidalgo will, and hit from three.
She did not hesitate. As soon as she caught that ball in her scoring pocket, that thing went up.
The number 5 recruit in the 2023 class. Cardoso turns, draws two. Hall can't knock down the three. Offensive rebound and the putback from Sanaya Fagan.
Outstanding rebound. She went up and it was able to corral it with one arm finish as well. It's just so odd to see all of a team of South Carolina uniforms not with Aliyah Boston.
Yeah,
and that was we had 4 years of that.
Gotten so used to it. Here's Pow off the steal and the finish. $18 all, under 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. Hidalgo, a deep one, is good. Hannah Hidalgo, a confident freshman, making her collegiate debut. Is it just me, or do these teams look remarkably sharp? For first game, you're in a foreign environment, literally.
It's incredible to me that both of these teams are shooting at least 50%.
Yeah, as Pow floats it in. 7 points for Te-Hina Pow. Here's Hidalgo into the corner. Catch, fire, off the mark for Prosper. And Pow the rebound. Shakes around, dishes, what a drive and kick. Pow finding Fagan for the layup. Wheeling past two defenders in transition to set up the opportunity. Hidalgo cuts through and lays it in. How about Hidalgo and Pow going back and forth? Underneath Cardoso using the size, threw it up with too much velocity. Notre Dame basketball. Hidalgo wheeling into the paint again, gets fouled by Fulwiley, and free throws for Hannah Hidalgo.
We talked about the confidence with which Hidalgo plays, and she comes back, catches the ball, and as soon as she does, her eyes are on the rim. There's the flex. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of that this year. Then Te-Hina Pow head is up, delivers the basketball beautifully for the easy two in transition. Yes, it's been a wonderful backcourt point guard battle between these two.
You know, it was interesting, too, talking earlier with South Carolina and them talking about the leadership that Pow showed right away. Dawn Staley talked about the importance of that for this group after all the players they lost last year. And then even talking to Fulwiley and saying Pow has instantly been the leader and the voice that we all turn to.
Yeah, I talked to Te-Hina this morning, and she said, my role on this team is to be an experienced leader and to be a voice. And yes, it's her first year at South Carolina, but she certainly has plenty of big game experience.
Here is Hidalgo, who's already up to 13 points. Hidalgo, the Euro, the dish. Citron surrounded, just chucks it out. Westbeld, short on a three. Hey, Thursday on ESPN2, catch a women's college basketball doubleheader, first at 6 Eastern. Number 18, Florida State hosts number 11, Tennessee. Then at 8, it's Caitlin Clark in Iowa taking on number 8, Virginia Tech, fresh off their trip to the Final Four. Some of the best players in the country play Thursday night, 6 and 8 Eastern on ESPN2 and the ESPN app.
So great to see Tamari Key back on the floor yesterday when Tennessee was playing against the U.S. national team after sitting out a season ago.
Another chance here for South Carolina. Johnson on the drive, gets denied. Emma Risch on the block, and it's going to be Notre Dame basketball.
The 6'1" freshman Risch comes over and a great clean look. Looks like a volleyball block. Both hands in the air, gets one hand on it.
Slight difference game in shot clock. Risch will pull, can't hit. Rebound South Carolina and Ashlyn Watkins. Watkins with the shot clock turned off, trying to force the action, and why not if you can grab a layup like that. Fagan making an impact. 8 points for Sanaya Fagan in this first. Hidalgo has to get it off. She does. Can't hit. And that'll do it for the first. The freshman Hidalgo with 13 to lead the way for Notre Dame. Niele Ivey, the head coach of the Fighting Irish, with Holly Rowe when we come back. Live from Paris. The first ever NCAA game played here. Well, Notre Dame and South Carolina, world travelers, went a long way to get here to Paris, over 4,000 miles. Niele Ivey, the head coach of Notre Dame, with Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach Ivey, you knew your freshman was so impressive, but she has blown us away. What's your thoughts seeing her in that first quarter?
She's doing what I see her do every day. Like I said, she plays with no fear. Her energy is contagious, and I love that she likes stepping up on a stage like this.
Your guys have been physical inside. They've been very physical presence against Cardoso in particular. What do you like that you're seeing?
I mean, it's physical. I feel like they're coming out taking good shots. I thought we got some good stops. So that's encouraging for us. Like, we want to be physical. We know it's going to be a great matchup in physicality. So I love the way that we're competing with them.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
How about Coach's outfit, too? Fantastic for Paris.
Both of the coaches brought it. And
always
staffs.
Stylish. Yes. Taking a look at the newcomers shining in that opening quarter. Hannah Hidalgo, the number 5 overall recruit in the country, with 13 points in her first quarter. And how about Te-Hina Pow? Her first quarter with South Carolina after transferring, God bless you, from Oregon, and scores 7 points. No, you didn't sneeze. Pow did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Johnson gives it up to another Johnson. Raven can't hit it. Oh, athletic rebound from Bree Hall keeps it alive for Tessa Johnson, who is a big-time three-point threat. We talk about the infusion of shooters for South Carolina. Shot clock down to 7 here. Watkins. Knocked away by Hidalgo. Another steal. Beautiful feed. Citron in transition finishes.
I mean, Hidalgo has been absolutely outstanding so far. You know, her willingness to take shots, to create, to make the right pass in transition. Defensively, super active.
Watkins turns the corner, draws two. That's a heck of a pass out of the double team to Hall. Hall hooks it up short, but a whistle underneath is going the other way.
Hidalgo with 5 steals in their preseason game. Here she gets another one, then the lead pass in transition to Citron.
Now you see what Hidalgo's doing, and you know at some point Notre Dame is scheduled to get back that young woman, Olivia Miles, who...
One of the best passers in the game.
Yes, one of the best players in the country.
They're looking pretty good already here today, but holy cow, that's like a backcourt compliment to one another.
How about a 3-guard set with Citron, Hidalgo, and Miles? Deep 3 won't go, knocked out of bounds. It will go to South Carolina as Westfeld last hit it. Both Niele Ivey and Dawn Staley emphasized to us just what a wonderful experience this has been in Paris. One of the things Dawn told us she loved is, you know, sometimes young players, you don't know how they're going to feel. They have absolutely soaked in every part of this experience. Not only have they said yes to everything, but they've been enthusiastic about everything. And the coaches have really wanted their players to take in more than just practice while they're here. As Johnson misfires, although Niele Ivey joked with us, she said, they've been so spirited about practice here as well. I told them, hey, make sure you keep that when we go back home, too. Hidalgo has it knocked away. Great hands by Fulwiley. The no-look pass to Johnson, who lays it in. Some impressive early minutes from Malaysia Fulwiley, another freshman.
You can see why Dawn Staley is so encouraged about how well this team can play in transition this year. When Cardoso is in the game, Notre Dame has been intentional about trying to involve her in on-ball screens. Don't see it there.
Hidalgo throws it away. Johnson in transition, banks it in. Raven Johnson up to 9 points. Her true freshman season, suffered a knee injury in the second week of November. Came back last year, going to be asked to do a whole lot more this year for the Gamecocks, and looking good early as Watson travels South Carolina basketball.
So you see Fulwiley defensively, active hands, then is able to corral the ball, pushing quickly the other way, the look away, and the finish by Johnson. And then once again, here she goes, head is up. Johnson able to finish at the rim. Multiple players who can just push in transition, find open teammates, attack the paint.
Yeah, whistle on the floor against Watson. Men's college basketball kicks off their season on ESPN Tuesday night as Auburn takes on number 20 Baylor in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They'll play in the Sanford Pentagon, the same place that hosted Dawn Staley in South Carolina than when they played South Dakota State in December of 2022. Men's college basketball, Auburn and number 20 Baylor, Tuesday at 9 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Cardoso gets fouled, and Kamilla Cardoso is going to the line. Holly?
Well, Kamilla Cardoso is such a great story. She's from Brazil. She actually grew up as a swimmer and diver. Her older sister Jessica was playing basketball, and she would have to go to the gym and wait for their mom to get off work. So she would hang around, see her sister practice. And finally, because she was tall, one of the coaches said, hey, why don't you start playing basketball? She said at first she didn't love it, but now she has really fallen in love with the game. So all these years later, how cool was it that she helped lead Brazil to a gold medal at FIBA this year, upsetting the United States?
Very cool. And obviously Cardoso, a big-time draft prospect for the W, as Watkins hooks in the putback, and South Carolina takes a 4-point lead.
Early in this game, Notre Dame had done a really nice job taking care of the defensive glass, and South Carolina has now gotten some second chance points by attacking the O boards.
Here's Hidalgo using the screen from Westbell. Off to Prosper. Prosper spinning, dishing, Marshall hitting.
Nice job getting the dribble penetration into the paint, drawing Cardoso, and then hitting the player she is defending. Marshall for the shot.
That ends a 7-0 South Carolina run. Cardoso flips it up and off. Loose ball on the floor. Everybody crashing for it. Cardoso has it, but it's going to be a tie-up, and Notre Dame has the possession arrow.
Ashlyn Watkins is an outstanding athlete, and she continues to fight, losing her balance, still just relentless, and gets the O board, finishes inside, and of course Dawn Staley's happy about that. That is just relentless effort on the glass.
Remember last year, South Carolina rebounded 49.8% of their misses. A historically good offensive rebounding team. Citron can't finish, got it back. Westbell off on a 3. And Raven Johnson able to hug the board. Here's Johnson picking her way into the front court. Now we'll calm things down. Raven Johnson's played some quality minutes in this first half. 9 points. Pow, quick first step, couldn't lay it in. Loose ball, and this time the possession arrow belongs with South Carolina.
We've seen Notre Dame starting in the zone, and they've played a bit of man here as well. And it's interesting because they did a better job defensive rebounding out of the zone than they have out of the man-to-man, and typically that's not the case.
Hidalgo will check out. Did not score in this second after 13 in the first. It's Johnson guarded by Citron. Dumps it in, Cardoso can't bank it home. Anna DeWolf, the transfer from Fordham. Will put it up, then off. Marshall the rebound, shovels to Prosper. Prosper gets denied. Fulwiley and Cardoso both there. Here's Fulwiley, weaving and laying. There is a lot to like about Malaysia Fulwiley as Raven Johnson trips up Citron in the backcourt.
Malaysia Fulwiley is just quick, and she's got some wiggle, able to get to the basket, finish, flex. Show us something else pretty.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Paris, la ville de la lumière, la ville de l'amour et maintenant la ville du basket. Merci d'avoir choisi ESPN.
Well, thank you very much for that, French. Cass Prosper from Canada. Coming up, Jeep halftime report. Drea with Hannah Hidalgo going to dance apparently, take some pictures with Sakima Walker. Going to get a season preview from Rebecca Lobo, stats and highlights. It's been a fun time here in Paris.
We've had an absolute blast, and I didn't know what the quality of basketball would be because it's November and it's these teams' first game of the year. This has been highly entertaining.
Yes.
Really well played game so far.
A 33-29 South Carolina lead. Westbell off to Citron. Westbell into the corner. Prosper a 3 off the mark. Rebound saved, but right to South Carolina, and here comes Pow. Fulwiley. Inside, there is the height advantage for Cardoso as Pow lobbed it into her. It's an 11-2 South Carolina run and a 6-point lead. DeWolf Misfires on the jumper, and Cardoso another rebound.
Cardoso is no longer coming out of the paint to defend. She is just staying in the paint, waiting to get boards and contest drivers.
Pow off the mark on a three. Cardoso the rebound, got the whistle.
Kamilla Cardoso is 6'7", and look at her just pointing up. Throw it where only I can get it, and her guard delivers the basketball, keeps it high, finishes.
Prosper out, Hidalgo back in for Notre Dame. Fulwiley a three, banks it in. Malaysia Fulwiley. Nine points, South Carolina lead. Hidalgo gives it up. Citron can't hit. Rebound Cardoso. Here comes Pow. Ahead to Hall. Fulwiley will take. Short that time. Out of bounds off of Watkins. And it will be Notre Dame basketball. How about Fulwiley's minutes so far, huh?
I've been really impressed with the variety of players for South Carolina who can get the ball and push. We even saw from Watkins, one of their bigger players. Anybody can get it and then push the other way and find their open teammates running in transition.
That shot missed badly from Hidalgo, going to stay here. Yeah, you talk about Watkins, who is a sophomore, and you look at Watkins and she just passes the pro body test right away.
Yeah, the second you lay eyes on her, you're like, she looks like a pro.
Yes. Oh, Westbeld went up and down. Notre Dame led this game 27-24. South Carolina been on a 14-2 run since. First NCAA game ever played in Paris.
They should play more here.
Here's Pow. Taken by Hidalgo, 2-on-1. Hidalgo races in and finishes through the contact from Fulwiley. 15 for Hidalgo. Wow, Fulwiley, my goodness, a show-stopping highlight. You're gonna see that one all season. The Eiffel Tower is shaking.
I mean, this is just spectacular. The quickness, the shift side to side, behind the back, finish. Oh my!
Wow, we will be back in 30 seconds in Paris. That play by the freshman Malaysia Fulwiley was spectacular. Take a look at it from the jump.
I mean, just the speed with which she does it, first of all, and here, shift behind the back, and then up and under and finish. I mean, just spectacular. How does she describe herself in her game today? Smooth and flashy.
That certainly was, Drea.
And maybe I'm adding another level to it, but it almost looked like she faked the pass to Cardoso before she went for the reverse layup. Impressive on all accounts.
It was amazing, and she was so sweet speaking with her earlier, getting ready for her first collegiate game. As Bree Hall knocks in the three, she was saying how Dawn Staley has constantly reminded her when she makes mistakes, hey, just because you make a mistake, it doesn't mean you're not a special player. Don't get down on yourself. You're going to make mistakes. You still need to remember what makes you special, because you are.
And what I loved about that, she said, I didn't really make mistakes in high school.
Hall speeds in, muscles through, can't finish. Cardoso, no. Rebound. Out to Anna DeWolf. DeWolf has it knocked away. Fulwiley able to save it. Doing it on the defensive end as well. 12-point South Carolina lead now. Hall Trying to find an angle, does. Layup is good. Chloe Kitts a chance for three.
You can understand, after not even a half of basketball, why Don Staley is so excited about this young group. They've got speed and transition. They've got players who can break you down off the bounce. They've got the bigs inside here. Break you down off the bounce, beautiful pass, over, finish, getting a chance for the and one. Capable three-point shooters. This is a fun young team.
I was going to say, they are going to play a very entertaining brand of basketball.
This arena is about 60%, maybe more, South Carolina fans.
Yeah.
Like, there's Garnet everywhere.
And I think 58% of those fans were online to take pictures with you before. There was a massive contingent
of
South Carolina fans,
love.
yeah,
Yes.
that were waiting for Rebecca Lobo pictures and autographs. It has been impressive the way fans have come into Paris to see these two programs. I mean, you could hear the reaction after that Fulwiley layup. This arena has been into this game.
Well, in all fairness, that might have been Notre Dame fans as well. That was spectacular for everyone to see.
That's spectacular. Meanwhile, if you're wondering, well, why is there a delay now? There is a discrepancy in how many fouls Maddie Westbeld has, so they're just trying to get that down.
You know what my question is?
No, but go ahead. We'll know in a moment.
Have you ever seen a scores table where everybody at it is seated like at bar stool height?
You're right.
Aren't they like ridiculously
Someone served them up
elevated
a little
over there?
champagne. That might be my new chair working with you.
They're all on like a throne.
I do like today's pillows I'm sitting on.
Yes.
Kitts completes the three-point play. Oh, there's the pillows, yeah. Right. See my credential hanging out of my back pocket, too.
Could be worse things.
Prosper, pull up, no good. South Carolina's had Notre Dame's had a hard time scoring against South Carolina at the end of this second quarter. Watkins finds Kitts right in the center of the lane for the easy flip. A 10-0 run for South Carolina, an extended 24-4 run. A 17-point lead for the Gamecocks.
An outstanding job the entire half, making the extra pass to get a slightly better shot.
7 seconds left in the first half. Hidalgo had an impressive first quarter. Hidalgo will take and get the roll to end the opening half. 17 for the freshman Hannah Hidalgo, but it's South Carolina who leads by 15. Holly Rowe is standing by with Raven Johnson.
Well, Raven, there's so much new for your team, but the same old Gamecock defense and hustle. How do you think that first half went for your team?
I think we just trust the process and listen to coach. And, you know, we just a young team. And I think we just trust in our speed because we're good in transition. So we're going to just trust that.
Kamilla Cardoso is inserting her will. She is imposing right now. How are you guys continuing to feed her and her give you second looks?
Well, we're moving the ball very well. We're sharing the ball with the team so we can get that high-low action and give her a look. So we're definitely trusting Kamilla because Kamilla's an X factor for us. So,
all right, Malaysia. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you thinking watching this freshman?
Malaysia brings something different to the table. I don't think there's no other freshman like her.
I agree. Congratulations on a good first half. Thank you.
Wow, you talk about how great this moment in time is for women's basketball. How about the freshmen we're getting to see here today? Hannah Hidalgo with 17 in that first half. And electrifying highlights from Malaysia Fulwiley. South Carolina with the 15-point lead at halftime in Paris. We welcome you back to the Aflac We Play in Paris, France. What an entertaining first half of basketball in the first ever NCAA game played here in Paris. Malaysia Fulwiley, the freshman, dazzling with some of her moves in transition. And how about another freshman, Hannah Hidalgo, with 17 points in her first half of collegiate basketball. As we welcome you again courtside, Ryan Rucco alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. These teams look pretty good for teams that are playing their first game of the season in a foreign environment. And how about the play we saw from the freshmen?
The freshmen were incredible. I'm so enjoying watching these young women come out here in what could be an intimidating environment and not being intimidated at all. Malaysia Fulwiley had these spectacular moments that we saw in that first half. Here, she's going to get a hand on the shot, gets a block shot, and then pushes the other way. And what you see once she gets the ball over half court, what does she see? 4 Notre Dame jerseys between her and the basket. All right, I'm just going to do a little hezzy head fake and finish anyway. And then the spectacular play of the game was the behind the back and the finish inside. And Hannah Hidalgo is quite the freshman herself as well. We saw some really nice moments from her. She's a game's leading scorer right now with 17. Certainly fearless as she takes the ball into the paint, scoring, flexing, looking for the and one, draining threes as well. This young woman has been fearless. Her coach described her as a dog, and she's certainly brought a lot of moxie to this game so far.
And Holly Rowe caught up with Hannah Hidalgo.
Well, Hannah Hidalgo, your first half of college basketball, how did you think it went coming out on the big stage?
I think we started off really well. I think we just need to get back into Notre Dame basketball. I mean, we got a little out of it, and I think we just need to get back into our game.
You have a level of confidence to you that's amazing. Where does it come from?
I think it's God-given. God has really blessed me with a talent, and I just go out and display the talent that he's given me.
Biggest keys to the second half.
Say it again, biggest piece?
Biggest keys to the second half.
Keys, getting back in transition defense, just defense in general. We got to play our defense, Notre Dame defense, and we got to push base.
All right, this is an honor to watch you play, young lady. Amazing.
Thank you.
Well, Hannah Hidalgo certainly has the Notre Dame fans excited. Meanwhile, South Carolina fans have to be delighted by what they saw in that first half with such a new group. Take a look at the game summary. Hidalgo with 17. The rest of the Irish with 16. Kamilla Cardoso with 10 rebounds in that first half for South Carolina, who dominated the paint, a plus 16. Notre Dame had a lead early, and then a few minutes into that second quarter, South Carolina really took control. They outscored them 24-8 in that second quarter. Rebecca, what do you need to see from Notre Dame to shrink this deficit?
They need to do a similar job that they did early on the defensive glass, not giving second looks. It's a really nice pass from Hidalgo inside. And they got to get back in defensive transition or score so that South Carolina can't get out and run, or not turn the ball over so that South Carolina can't get out and run. I mean, South Carolina had 16 fast break points in that first half.
A foul there against South Carolina will send Watson to the line as we send things over to Andrea Carter.
Well, Rebecca said exactly what I was thinking, and as I was looking at some of these stats, you see the turnovers, the difference is only 2. Notre Dame had 8 in the first half, South Carolina had 6, but South Carolina has 10 more points off of turnovers. That transition game, their ability to run and score off of those turnovers was a big difference.
And that was something Dawn Staley talked about earlier with us, feeling like this group would be a much better team in transition, and we are seeing a lot of excellence in transition early as Westbeld couldn't save it to her teammate after the steal. On the spin, Pow lays it in. The Oregon transfer looking very sharp here tonight in her first game with South Carolina.
You saw Notre Dame extending full court pressure after the free throw. It looked like they were going to get a steal out of it. Here, an offensive foul. And, you know, in the past when you would look at South Carolina stats at halftime at the end of the game, it was second chance points was the thing that killed their opponents. Well, the first half they made 4 threes. That's what they averaged per game a season ago. Just under 4.5 threes per game.
It's a great point, and something we're certainly going to be watching this season for South Carolina. Johnson pulls up. Can't hit. Rebound underneath Cardoso, and a whistle is going to go against Watson.
And Notre Dame in a man-to-man defense, and as soon as the shot went up, Watson tried to box out, undercut Cardoso a bit, gets called for the foul, but Shots up. She's trying to get in there. And Cardoso does a really good job getting the inside position.
Third foul on Watson. A little floater from Pau won't go. Cardoso, just impossible to stop.
Reminiscent of the Final Four game against Iowa, where nobody could box her out. She's just reaching over, getting offensive boards, and finishing.
She was South Carolina's best source of offense in that game as Hidalgo hits the mid-range.
Glad we had her explaining the celebration to Drea in the halftime show.
Here's Pau. Hidalgo got over the screen. Johnson dumps it in. Cardoso, good position, and the reverse.
And in the man, you're going to have to send a double team because you just don't have the size to stay with Cardoso.
Hidalgo turns on the Jets, gets fouled by Cardoso, and will shoot two. Kamilla Cardoso picks up the personal. All right, partner, what's been your favorite part of Paris?
My favorite part of Paris
has
been when the top of the hour when the Eiffel Tower twinkles.
That really is lovely.
It's pretty spectacular.
And it twinkles for 5 minutes. So
yes.
If you think you missed it right at 7 o'clock, well, no. You get there at 7:01, you're still going to see that twinkle.
Is that a poor touristy answer? What's been your favorite part of Paris?
I don't think so. I like the berets. I'm a fan of the berets. I just love walking this city.
Yes.
Stop in a cafe, have a coffee or a champagne, enjoy a little people watching. We almost didn't come to the second half. Inside, Cardoso lays it in.
Well, you know I'm 6'4". I like big people watching.
That's right. 9 points for Cardoso's off to a great start. Make it 11 for Cardoso. As Westbeld can't finish. Johnson. South Carolina really has been going to Cardoso with great intention here to begin this second half, and again, and Niele Ivey needs a timeout.
Kamilla Cardoso has been working hard all game long, getting some opportunities here early in the third quarter where she has single coverage in Notre Dame's man-to-man. 6'7", puts her hand up in the air and has guards who can get it to her, making it look easy, finishing right and left.
Oh yeah, how about a little music while you're visiting the Louvre here in Paris? And if you're South Carolina, how about a little Kamilla Cardoso in the third quarter?
Or how about a lot of Kamilla Cardoso in the third quarter? They just continue to go to her, and when they haven't, she's gone and gotten it on her own. Offensive boards, finishing with players underneath her here. The dribble move, finishes on the other side of the rim with the right hand, and then corrals and finishes with the left. South Carolina's been very intentional to get her touches, and she's delivered here in the third.
Drea?
Rebecca, I know you coach basketball at times, and how rare is it to make that lob pass from the middle of the floor? That is a tough angle to make the pass. There's no help side, but there's also no real angle. But the advantage Kamilla Cardoso has and the connection between those two middle of the floor lob passes, that is not easy to do.
She does a really nice job when she posts of pointing of exactly where she wants them to throw the ball, gives them the target. Raven Johnson able to deliver it perfectly to her.
Hidalgo banks it in. She has been essentially the source of offense for Notre Dame. The freshman.
And no surprise, Notre Dame back into their zone. They have to do something to try to block up the middle, clog up the middle of the lane because it had been too easy for Cardoso.
And yeah, some kind of maybe clock discrepancy, shot clock discrepancy. As Prosper will come in for Anna DeWolf. You know what? Well, they're figuring that out. We're going to tell you about what's happening Saturday. SEC Network has nonstop coverage of college football, noon Eastern. Vanderbilt in South Carolina, 4 p.m. It's Auburn in Arkansas, and 7:30 Florida. And number 14 LSU, SEC College Football Saturday all day on the SEC Network and on the ESPN app.
That's promo number 4 for people keeping track at home.
I'm glad you're giving them the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Here's Hidalgo off the miss, committed to the air, had to force it up, and ends up tossing it out of bounds. And you can see her saying, that's all me, that's all me. 10th turnover for Notre Dame. Aliyah trying to get her team back in this, down 18, a few minutes into the third quarter. Notre Dame had a second quarter lead, then South Carolina went on a 24-4 run. And a whistle here against Citron. That'll be the third team foul against Notre Dame in this third.
How many fouls has Kamilla Cardoso drawn?
Yeah, great point.
Because here, Citron trying to get back and push back and box out, because even if you have great position, she's proven, Cardoso has, that she can get the O board.
Johnson lobs it inside to Cardoso. What a look, and Cardoso finishes.
And a beautiful back cut by Cardoso as well. Those two are certainly on the same page. They have been since a year ago, playing with one another.
Westbell stops, takes, can't hit. Rebound Cardoso. Cardoso with 13 boards, as that's out of bounds. It'll stay with the Gamecocks.
These two have such a wonderful connection, and you see the backdoor cut by Cardoso. She just goes. Johnson finds her. Beautiful basketball.
Holly?
Well, they've actually been playing together a lot longer. They played AAU basketball together, so Raven knows exactly where to deliver that ball. She's been playing with her 6'7" friend for a long time.
A lot of reps, and you are seeing the chemistry manifest as Cardoso comes up with a block. Well, Dawn Staley told us, this year, Kamilla Cardoso, she is our featured player, and we are seeing that in this third quarter.
Yeah, without question. And she said one thing she wants her to do more, what Dawn Staley wants Cardoso to do more, is look for her mid-range jump shot. Well, she hasn't really needed that today. She's owning the interior.
Including on the defensive end as she comes up with another block, her second of the possession. Aliyah trying to plead that Cardoso made contact with the arm. Hey, want to remind you, see that game up in your top right corner? That is going to be an awesome basketball game. Caitlin Clark in Iowa against a Virginia Tech team that went to the Final Four a season ago, that plays an incredibly rhythmic, fun style of basketball, and that could be a team. They return a lot of their talent from last year. They could certainly be a team who's playing in the national championship game this year.
This has been a fun, fast-paced game. That one will be as well.
Foul here on Prosper after another block from South Carolina, who set a D1 record a season ago, averaging nearly 9 blocks per game. Sixth block for South Carolina. Pow Pow. Off to Fulwiley, back into the game. Oh my goodness, to Pow Pow for the finish. Malaysia Fulwiley is putting together a season-long reel in her first 3 quarters of collegiate basketball. That was one where I had to grab your shoulder.
Yes,
Did you
it's the
notice that?
second time this game. Both with Fulwiley.
Fulwiley, pump fakes, dishes. Hall on the drive, adjusts, can't finish. Weak side rebound for Westbell. A 62-40 South Carolina lead, under 4.5 to go in the third. Here's Hidalgo, shoveling out. Citron can't get it to drop. Been a quiet game for Sonia Citron. Timeout on the floor. How about Malaysia Fulwiley in her collegiate debut?
We've seen her do something spectacularly, getting the ball to the rim, and there she delivers it right to Pow Pow. This kid is fun to watch. Is there a more fun freshman in the country to watch than Malaysia Fulwiley? I don't think so. From the first half, the play of the game so far, going end to end in transition. Let's see it one more time, at least one more time. Behind the back, just inside, finishing with a scoop shot. Absolutely breathtaking.
And speaking of great point guards of all time, Magic Johnson loved it as well. I'm watching the women's basketball game between South Carolina and Notre Dame right now, and I just saw the best move in all of basketball, including the pros like LeBron, Steph, KD, Victor, and Jokic. Everyone must see the coast-to-coast behind-the-back move by freshman guard Aliyah Fulwiley from South Carolina. Wow, at Gamecock WBB. Magic Johnson tweeting that out. Pretty good introduction to college basketball for Aliyah Fulwiley.
I'd say so.
And it was so interesting hearing Dawn Staley talk about earlier, because she has not been shy at all saying publicly, this is a generational player, talking about Fulwiley. And so far, she has made a couple of moves in this game that are the kind of moves where you hold on to the table because you just don't see them.
Yeah, you wonder, like, how does that manifest itself as you see the block there from Ashlyn Watkins, and just incredible electricity with which she plays, and excitement and productivity as well.
The Wolf backs away. Notre Dame was able to score efficiently in the first. They have struggled since. Here's Hidalgo, the hesitation and a denial. Cardoso, another rejection.
South Carolina a season ago led the nation in blocks per game at just over 8. Well, you can see one of the people that's going to be leading the charge for them again this season. Cardoso continues to clean up the mess inside.
I believe that's block number 4 for Cardoso. Westbell rattles in the long jumper. And I say I believe that because getting the stats exactly just takes a hair longer in Paris.
Harder in
so
France.
We just want to give a little buffer for those of you scoring at home. Johnson, a 3 is short. And the steal for Wiley, gives it up. Cardoso flips it in, plus the foul. South Carolina putting on a Parisian show.
So Wiley just picks the pocket and gets inside, leaves it for her big player. The luxury for Dawn Staley on the floor. She has Raven Johnson, ball handler. Te-Hina Pow, ball handler. Wiley, ball handler.
I think what you said before is right. You can understand why Dawn Staley is so excited about this team. Because you would think this could be a massive adjustment year for South Carolina. They just sent 5 players to the WNBA last year. A group that had such continuity and connectivity, playing together for 4 years, and, well, looks like they may not skip a beat. Another massive rejection from Kamilla Cardoso.
I mean, Watson is aggressive and has the confidence to go in there, and then Cardoso says, why?
Yeah, right. Hidalgo adjusts, can't finish. Cardoso another rebound, able to keep her feet in bounds. Spring Pow down the floor. The finish is good from Ashlyn Watkins. A 25-point South Carolina lead. Watson hands it off to Wolf, stops, and gets fouled. Anna DeWolf is going to take 2. Well, now it's time for our Aflac trivia question. Last season, 4 teams finished in the top 20, here's the duck, in field goal percentage and field goal percentage defense. Which teams?
Is there a prize?
You know, we do have a little Aflac stuffed animal duck here.
We do?
Yeah, I mean, if you get it right, maybe I'll give it to you instead of my 2-year-old daughter.
I don't
if you
think
want to
that's a
take
good
a stuffed
idea.
animal away from a child. We got this nice little Aflac duck the Kai Maple brought us here. This is what Rebecca will be playing for when it comes to today's trivia question.
That's right.
Going to see if you're going to take this away from Evie.
Even if I win, I will give it back to you to give to Evie, but then it's regifted.
Do you want to take a guess?
I don't really. How long do we, how long before we...
Is there a timer on it?
I don't know, I'm
We're
wondering.
going to answer it in the fourth quarter. You got a little time to think. No Googling, though. You got to, you know, I can see you on your computer, and you're not on it now, and you can't be.
No, will not be. What you got to do, kid? Right? As soon as the ball's in her hands.
Oh, that kind of anticipation. 7 on the shot clock. Fulwiley airmailed that one out of bounds to Notre Dame. You know, one of the things Dawn Staley talked about, along with Niele Ivey, is just how first class this entire experience has been. Everybody at Aflac, as well as Complete Sports Management, and the job they've done putting on this event. It's been an incredibly memorable experience for every member of both programs.
Just how first class the whole operation has been.
Yes. First NCAA game ever in Paris. Here tonight. A 67-44 lead for South Carolina. Minute and a half to go in the third quarter. See Notre Dame in that zone. Watkins turns, can't hit. Rebound taken in by Emma Risch. Risch gives it back to Hidalgo. The freshman has been the one consistent scoring thread for Notre Dame in this game. In the corner, Citron nails the three. We know Sonia Citron is quite capable of that. A little quiet so far today, but gets that one to drop.
But those are really the only open looks that Notre Dame has gotten, are the ones from deep, and they're going to certainly need to make some of those to cut into this lead in the fourth.
Pow, pow, wee, wee from the corner. Oh, nice dish. Hidalgo got it to Watson, couldn't finish. Shot clock turned off. Johnson wants the opportunity in transition with Fulwiley laying it in. (72-47). South Carolina in front. And a whistle here. Fulwiley called for the foul. Notre Dame in the bonus. They'll go to the line. We'll go to Holly.
Well, how did we end up in Paris? It was about 2 years ago that Lee Miller, an event organizer, started talking to Dawn Staley and said, I think we can do this. And remember, Dawn Staley played here after she was a college player, wonderful player at Virginia. The WNBA wasn't even an idea yet. She came here and played in France for 8 months, so she knew the love and the passion that they have in Europe for women's basketball. So they got this event put together. Dawn said, hey, I want to have another woman on this stage like me, invited Niele Ivey, and they have just had an incredible experience. Their teams have taken a boat ride on the Seine together. They've done brunch with some of the organizers. So many South Carolina fans are here. It's just really impressive to see what they've built.
Yeah, it is. These programs, their fan bases, and everything about this experience first class. As the layup is good at the buzzer. Sanaya Ja makes it a 25-point South Carolina lead after 3. Holly will speak with Dawn Staley when we come back. The Gamecocks in total control in Paris.
And just so impressed with how unselfish they are playing the game here today. 23 assists on their 31 made field goals.
Bienvenue à Paris avec Dawn Staley. And Coach, this is such a special experience for you and your club. How proud are you of what you built here in Paris for your fans and your team?
I mean, this is awesome. Anytime that you can give student athletes an experience like we've given them right here in Paris, where, you know, you got to compartmentalize a little bit because you're seeing a whole lot of sights, but the focus is the game. And I'm glad our players are able to come on game day to focus and turn the page. And that's why we came here, is really get a win on and open up women's basketball on this stage.
Well, the Eiffel Tower has relocated to this gym right now. Kamilla Cardoso is just unstoppable. How proud are you? She said you challenged her to be more dominant, and she's listened.
You know, being dominant is a process. I know we wanted to see Kamilla do this maybe a year or two ago, but it takes time. Now that, you know, some of those Aliyahs are out the way, like she's getting all the reps, and when you're getting all the reps, you make adjustments. But I think the biggest thing about Kamilla is her practice habits are a lot different than they were. Like, she knows she's a focal point now, so she doesn't take days off, and she doesn't hand it to somebody else to do. So it's her turn now, and she's got to thrive in the role.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thanks, Holly.
Well, Drea, how about Kamilla Cardoso tonight thus far for South Carolina?
Well, I think the defensive impact as well. You talk about dominating on both ends. It's offensive, it's defensive. And Rebecca talked about the best thing for a guard. The best thing for a guard is having someone behind you that is going to protect the rim and trusting that you can give ball pressure and you've got somebody behind you. That is the best part. We have seen Aliyah Boston do it for South Carolina. We've seen Asia Wilson do it for South Carolina. Kamilla Cardoso doing it as well.
And for her to be as active as she has been blocking shots, to only have 2 fouls, she's done a really nice job of making sure she doesn't put herself in a position. Here she goes again to get the foul.
Citron fakes, fades, can't hit. Rebound, knocked out of bounds. It was a 25-24 lead for Notre Dame after 1 quarter, but South Carolina has outscored Notre Dame 50-24 since. Doesn't it feel like Cardoso has more than 4 blocks?
Yes. I think it feels that way to Notre Dame as well.
Yeah. Here's Citron turning, can't finish, knocked out of bounds, stays here. Notre Dame still without Olivia Miles, their star point guard who had a major knee injury last season. She has been cleared rehab-wise. Niele Ivey told us now it's just about when Olivia trusts it, feels like she's ready to go, and they are not going to rush her. So no definitive timetable on when she will be back, but she is obviously trending in the right direction. Oh, nice dish inside, and Cardoso's up to 20 points. By the way, for those of you wondering, we will get the Aflac trivia answer very shortly. Hidalgo, lob it in. Watson, deep catch, draws 3, gets blocked. Watkins and Cardoso there. Raven Johnson blistering into the paint, banks it home. Knocked out of bounds. Stays with Notre Dame on the inbound. As Marshall will check in for Watson. All right, let's answer Aflac. The Aflac trivia question answer. Last season, 4 teams finished in the top 20 in field goal percentage and field goal percentage defense. Who were they? Giving you a moment so you can re-rack your brain, try and come up with those guesses. And the answer is coming momentarily. I want to give people a chance again. Did you want to take a guess?
I would imagine South Carolina has to be one of them. UConn probably one of them.
Correct. You nailed 2. Want to keep going?
Maybe don't. Notre Dame? Okay.
Yes. And one more. Think Crown.
LSU.
Yes. There you go. Notre Dame, UConn, South Carolina, and LSU are Aflac trivia answer. Does this
Crown.
mean
You don't think ring? You think crown?
Well, I guess either way. We're in Paris, royalty.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Does this mean you win the little stuffed duck?
And I'm going to gift it to Evie. Make sure she knows it's from me.
It's from Auntie Rebecca. Watkins, count it. Plus the foul.
I'm going to say this. I think this has been a really, really well officiated game.
Yeah.
I don't understand that foul. It looked to me like Citron, you know, had gotten into her space, has her arms up in the air, and that Watkins lowers her shoulder. Like, you don't have to be stationary.
Oh, yeah.
It felt to me like that should be an offensive foul, if a foul at all.
Right. I agree.
But I think this has been a really well officiated game.
Yeah, Gina Cross, Maya Forsberg, Angelica Suffren done a really nice job here. As Watkins completes the three-point play, it is a 30-point South Carolina lead. Sold-out crowd here, and the majority of those fans, South Carolina fans, although Notre Dame with a really good showing as well. Marshall rattles in the jumper. Johnson. Stood up by Hidalgo, and the turnover. Hidalgo has forced a few steals today. Hidalgo up, under, and off. But Hannah Hidalgo is going to shoot two. Hey, Monday is opening night for college basketball on ACC Network beginning at 3 Eastern. ACC PM kicks off coverage. Then 5 p.m. it's High Point and Virginia Tech. 7 p.m. Radford and UNC. 9 p.m. Dartmouth and Duke. And 11 it's Nothing But Net, the network's basketball wrap show. ACC Network College Basketball Monday is starting at 3 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network and the ESPN app.
I'm a morning person. Is there an ACC AM?
Hey, look! We have my godson, his twin sister, Flynn and Marnie, and your daughter, Siobhan, taking in the game.
Siobhan's not wearing her beret, though.
No. Marnie she had one goal here in Paris, and it was to go get a beret. She is a fashionista, that little 9-year-old.
Adorable.
My hamstrings are killing me because I was chasing them through parks yesterday. Going to be a foul here on the out of bounds, I believe, as Marshall might have a sore hamstring as well now.
I know she's getting hit hard and falling, and you're complaining about your hamstring. The synergy was perfect.
You chased two 9-year-olds for hours. Layup is good. Fulwiley with another good-looking finish. Malaysia Fulwiley. 11 points, 5 assists in her collegiate debut. One of the first things that Dawn Staley said about Fulwiley after she talked about her being a generational player, she said she wants to be great and she is so coachable. She has great instincts. And the only complaint thus far from Dawn, not a complaint, but she was just saying she'll get down on herself a little bit when she makes mistakes, and Coach Staley has to remind her how special she is.
If there are any South Carolina season ticket holders who are worried about what the team might look like this year after graduating their entire starting five from a year ago, I think it's safe to say it's good to re-up.
Yeah, they're not worried anymore. Fagan lays it in.
Season ticket subscriptions after this game might take a nice bump.
Yeah, well, also really entertaining style of basketball, the way this team has gotten out and run. Here's Hidalgo. Oh, nice crossover. Hidalgo out to DeWolf. Her three is good, but it won't count. A whistle underneath against South Carolina. As we send things over to Holly Rowe.
Well, you're talking about Malaysia and just how electric and exciting she is. She actually was a 7th grader right in Columbia, South Carolina when she got called up to varsity at Keenan High School. Dawn Staley started coming around, so Dawn's known her since she was in middle school. Dawn was the first offer that she had in college, and so when it came to what college she should select, she's like, why wouldn't I play for Dawn Staley? But think of that relationship going back to 7th, 8th grade, and Malaysia just has the trust of her head coach.
That relationship has been forged over a long period of time, Holly, and I'm pretty sure she's going to have even more trust after this debut. Oh, on the steal, Johnson gets it to Hall, who lays it in. (87-54), South Carolina in front of Notre Dame. 6:15 to go in this fourth. Marshall's face-up is good.
Nice job from there. When
Yeah.
she's gotten and pivoted and faced up from the free throw line area, Marshall's been able to be effective.
And as great as this South Carolina team has looked in this game, Rebecca, Notre Dame has a lot to be excited about this season. We talked about Miles, when she will potentially come back, but even though maybe second quarter on hasn't been their best showing against the South Carolina team that's humming, Notre Dame a lot of talent and a team to watch this season.
Yeah, has talent, has depth, has experience, in particular in their starting lineup, and this will be a great learning point for them to jump off of this season.
5:39 to go in the fourth. Olivia Miles, a spectator in this one. South Carolina, the 89-56 lead over Notre Dame. Niele Ivey in her fourth season at the helm of the Fighting Irish. And that went out of bounds. South Carolina basketball. Here's Johnson. Denied inside. Westbeld there along with Risch. Thwarting the attempt from Fagan. Risch bounces underneath and a whistle against Fagan. That'll be the fourth team foul on South Carolina in this fourth quarter. South Carolina shooting it at 56% from the floor as a team. They have held Notre Dame under 32% from the floor. Here's Fulwiley, gets banged from behind by Hidalgo, and a foul. The two freshmen racing up the floor together. See the numbers. 25 from Hidalgo, and Fulwiley has had 11 and some spectacular highlights. It's another steal created by Hidalgo and another steal created by Fulwiley. They both have done it multiple times. Knocked out of bounds. It will stay with South Carolina. So here's what these teams are playing for today. You're in Paris, right? How about some beautiful artwork? The winner takes that home. Nobody takes that home, but you take home the memories of it. And boy, is it beautiful. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball brought to you by Aflac. Help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover, and by Complete Sports Management. See the world through our eyes. You see this clinic that was put on for some youngsters here in Paris. And how about some facts about Paris? The original name of Paris? You want to give that a try?
No, but Holly should.
Holly should. There are no stop signs in Paris. Just really trust their drivers. The Louvre's worth an estimated $45.5 billion. And you have 3 WNBA players who were born in France. We just saw Marie and Johannes in the WNBA Finals. Under 5 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. And South Carolina, a 33-point lead over Notre Dame. A 60-16 edge in the paint for South Carolina. 26 assists for the Gamecocks. Here's Citron. Short on a 3. Rebound Prosper. Flips it up and off. Snared away, but right back to Prosper, who lays it in. Rebecca, we haven't necessarily seen the best game from Cass Prosper here, but she's a sophomore who there's so much to like about what she brings to the table.
Yeah, nice size, good strength as well. She's got a versatile game. We saw her there competing hard on the glass.
Fagan elevates, can't hit. Rebound, Westbeld. Under 4 minutes to go in this fourth. Hidalgo, a little long on the 3. Westbeld, the flip in is short. And the rebound hugged by Sanaya John. Down the floor, Johnson finds Fagan. More fast break points for South Carolina.
As soon as they corral the ball, the first thing they're doing is looking down the floor to see who's running.
And a steal by Ja. They have 24 fast break points and 2 more. Fulwiley with an open lane. Ushers herself to the rim. South Carolina now with 64 points in the paint. They've turned it over just 9 times. Foul here against South Carolina. Over the limit, so free throws for Notre Dame.
Just so good in transition. Fulwiley goes in, finishes that time, but as we said, it feels like anyone on the floor for South Carolina can lead the break, and as soon as they corral the board, get a steal, whatever the case may be, once they get possession, they are looking to push and run.
Drea?
Well, they also play together in transition. Rebecca, I remember you talking about a WNBA team. I believe it was Asia Wilson who slowed up in transition to create a screen the exact same way Sanaya Fagan just did. She slows up running to create that window for Mylasia Fulwiley to finish. They play together in transition as well.
It's so important for everyone to just look to run, and this is a team that's clearly in good shape. They're conditioned to do this for the full 40 minutes. I mean, every team that has South Carolina on their schedule the week or a few days preceding the game is going to be working on defensive transition drills.
Well, one of the things that Dawn Staley talked about earlier, she gave a lot of credit to their head of sports performance, Molly Botetto. You can actually see Dawn wearing a shirt that says "Body by Botetto" because she is so happy with the way her team has come along when it comes to their conditioning, their growth muscularly, the way they are prepared now to start this season compared to the way they were when they started at South Carolina at the beginning of camp. Fulwiley gets fouled. I believe I might have butchered Molly's last name a little bit there too. So. Benetti. I grew up with a Botetto, that's why. Holly?
Well, the impressive thing about this freshman shooting free throws right now, Mylasia, is that they have a program called Iron Gamecock, and only 2 players were able to achieve that this year. They keep track of everything from speed, lifts, running, power, all these numbers through a course of weeks, and you get 10 points or 0 points. And Mylasia Fulwiley was one of those 2 players that got Iron Gamecock. This is an incoming freshman who's hitting all those benchmarks and pushing everybody else. It was only her and Ashlyn Watkins that became those Iron Gamecocks, and I think that's very impressive that the freshman is setting that standard for herself.
Really is, and that was something that Dawn highlighted to us right away about the motor of Fulwiley and her desire to improve in every area. We saw the tweet from Magic Johnson. I think everyone's going to want to watch Fulwiley the rest of the season. And don't worry, we have South Carolina on our air a lot. Notre Dame
Sunday,
quite a bit as well.
This comes Sunday
this coming
Maryland.
Sunday, 1 o'clock on ABC against Maryland. Here's Fulwiley. Will fire from 3, can't hit, back iron. Hidalgo in there, pushing pace for Notre Dame. Hannah Hidalgo lays it in. How about what we've seen from Hidalgo today?
Yeah, she's done a really nice job, and especially early on in the game where she just came out fearless, looking like she was ready to lead this Notre Dame team.
The putback is good. Sanaya Ja has given South Carolina some nice minutes off the bench as well as Hidalgo goes soaring into Ja. Picks up the foul and free throws here for Hidalgo. By the way, Cardoso on the bench now for South Carolina. The result obviously no longer in doubt. How about 20 points, 15 rebounds, 4 blocks, 6 of her boards offensive.
It's time for her to just sit there and dance. That's what she was doing. Oh, she stopped now. Yeah, this group's got to feel really good. Not only did they play exceptionally well here in this game, but played with one another, shared the basketball. Just really fun. really fun way to play.
Yeah. This crowd has had a lot to ooh and ah about. Johnson shovels, gets it back. Tessa Johnson gets fouled. And Tessa Johnson, the freshman, Minnesota's Gatorade Player of the Year last season.
Ooh and ah sounds like a phrase that could have originated in Paris.
Maybe. Dawn Staley sharing a laugh with longtime official Mike Forsberg. Talked about Tessa Johnson as the Minnesota Gatorade Player of the Year. She led St. Michael's High School to its first state championship since 2009. Was a McDonald's All-American who won the three-point contest at the event. Hidalgo's jumper won't go. Prosper flies in, loose ball, and on the floor for it. Notre Dame controls, but looked like the back of Marshall ended up out of bounds, and it's South Carolina basketball. How about some big picture thoughts from you, Rebecca? We talked about this moment in time for women's college basketball, coming off record viewership last year in the finals and dynamic stars. For some of the storylines around the nation you're going to be focused on at the start of the season?
Well, I think a lot of people are going to pick up where they left off a year ago, and that's eyes on Angel Reese, who came out as one of the biggest stars of the national championship game. Caitlin Clark as well, and Haley Van Lith has been added to the LSU roster, as has Anissa Morrow. I mean, we have a lot of the teams that you want to see that are right here on this graphic coming up in the near future on ESPN, but it's just going to be exciting to see these stars. Paige Becker's back at UConn.
Right, you get to see her Sunday, 3 Eastern on ABC. Caitlin Clark Thursday night on ESPN2.
It just feels like this is a year where most of the stars in college basketball are playing on the women's side, and it's going to be a really fun year to watch and follow them.
Under 40 seconds to go in Paris. Oh, wow. Fulwiley picks the pocket and lays it in. Well, Malaysia is never going to forget her collegiate debut in Paris. She's done it defensively. She's done it offensively. In transition, she has been dynamic.
Just a perfect pick and able to finish the other way. And it just felt like the game has come relatively easy for her today. You know, she hasn't really forced things. She's made the right decisions, passed when she should, scored when she should.
Long rebound. Ja gets it ahead. Fulwiley lays it in. 2 more. Dawn Staley did not want them taking that shot. Wanted them to just dribble it out as South Carolina hits the century mark. Hidalgo splashes the 3. 0.8 of a second on the clock. Dawn Staley immediately apologized to Niele Ivey. You could see kind of gesturing, hey, she wasn't supposed to lay that in. She was supposed to dribble it out. But Dawn Staley, Niele Ivey, a wonderful relationship. So don't have to worry about any carryover there. As South Carolina, so impressive in this season opener. The first ever NCAA game played in Paris, France. And the Gamecocks win it over Notre Dame, 100-71. How about Malaysia Fulwiley? 15 points, 6 assists, 6 steals in her debut.
Welcome to the newest young star of women's college basketball. Malaysia Fulwiley had it all on display today. Unselfishness as she finds teammates. Ability to get by anyone. Spectacular finishes and just the highlight reel kind of plays, whether she's finishing for herself or delivering to her teammates. But this woman is worth the price of admission.
And Fulwiley is with Holly Rowe.
Well, this is a big moment, the first NCAA game in France, but how did you get so comfortable so early making some incredible jaw-dropping plays?
I think it's really just the practice, the days when I wasn't doing so good, the days when I was doing good. I just made sure to stay positive, just making sure I know what I'm going to be able to do when I get here on the court, and it all seems to just turn out well for me every time.
One of the best moves I've seen ever in person. You're going to the basket and you have this little up and under flip. What were you thinking as you drove the lane?
I was like, she looked like she was confused as she's supposed to pick me up or not pick me up. So I was like, all right. And I just felt like I was in high school. That was my favorite move when I was in high school. So I just did it. And then like I seen the defender coming up, so I had to fake like I was going to dish it to Kamilla because she was being dominant, and I just laid it up.
Well, even Magic Johnson's tweeting about it, so I think you impressed a lot of people. Your team played together, a lot of assists. It wasn't just you, everybody was together. How did that feel?
I think because togetherness is like one of our main words that we've been using all practice. We just play with each other, we love each other. We've been putting in the work since summer, so I feel like it was pretty easy for us once we got on the court.
Can I teach you one French word before you go?
Yeah.
What I think of you, magnifique.
Mercy, mercy.
Oh, magnificent and wonderful to watch. South Carolina wins it 100-71 over Notre Dame. For our producer, Kerry Callahan, our director, Mike Roy, Andrea Carter, Holly Roan, the Hall of Famer, Rebecca Lobo, I'm Ryan Rucco.